Alright, Electric Motor Division, General Motors Corporation, Maintenance Instruction 4102, Revision B, 48-inch AC motor-driven cooling fan configuration, 689-blade AC motor-driven fans, U for the current with the production of locomotives. Part numbers of these fans are listed, and serve the data of the AC motor-driven and cooling fan figure 1 basically consists of the inverted squirrel cage type. The induction motor of the motor differs from the construction of the conventional squirrel cage motors by over the rotator located outside of the shape of the rotating with the fan operation during circulation with the diesel engine of the air compressor cooling system. Water picks up the heat dissipated with the water temperature for the control of the radiator. Some of the AC motor-driven cooling fans. Two or more fans are either depending on the locomotive model, engine side of the cooling requirements of fans of the model with the hatch located with the roof of the locomotive above the engine. Cooling system of the operating fans are all the air through the radiator. Some remove the heat from the circulating water. Heated air is discharged from the roof of the locomotive. The fans will operate independently for the control of the automatically thermostatic switch of the contactor for the function of the changes in the cooling system temperature. Motor fan speed, the theoretical portion of the AC frequency of the turn is dependent on the engine with the alternator speed of the cooling fans run approximately 600 RPMs at the engine speed with over 350 RPMs, approximately 1700 RPMs at the full engine speed of 900 RPMs. Rotation is clockwise when looking down at the fan. For further operation concerning cooling system operation, refer to applicable locomotive service manual. Alright, show the figure 1 shows the 9-blade cooling fan assembly, the frame and stator assembly, and the blade rotor assembly. The maintenance required with the inspection intervals overhaul period. Refer to the applicable schedule maintenance program. Lubricating with the ball bearings of the cooling fan to double the shield with a pre-lubricated tub with the bearing with the protective of the inner and outer seal with the package seal with the factory Chevron BRB2 grease. Designed to operate further lubricating on overall with the bearing should be removed and replaced with the new factory pack bearings. Operating inspection. Periodic inspection cooling fan should be made as follows. 1. Inspection. See if the fan is securely fastened with the locomotive hatch and the guards are in place. 2. To make sure that there is no restriction of the fan rotation airflow. 3. When engine running completely, circle with the drift of the thermostat the operative of the fan. Listen to unusual noise if the can indicate with the internal external problem. Check with the vibration on the other side of the unbalance. Before doing any work on the fan, make sure the disconnect with the power source of the engine is shut down. This will prevent the fan from inadvertently starting the preliminary inspection. When the cooling fan is removed with the locomotive with the reconditioned, preliminary inspection should be performed before disassembly. Place fan motor stand suitable stand with the fan and up. Be careful not to damage flexibility continuity connection plug. Slowly rotate the fan manually to check with the freedom of the rotation stator. Test stator winding insulation resistance using a 500 volt DC mega with allowed with a minimum indication of 1 mega ohm. The megawatt indication of 1 mega ohm cannot be obtained when the stator may have to be dried by placing it on an oven at 120 degrees Celsius oven for 4 to 6 hours. After drying with the mega indication set less than 1 mega ohm, further testing should be made after disassembly. 4. Mounting motor fixtures designed to prevent airflow with the fan during the running test. The connect motor leads to 115 volt AC 3-phase 60 cycle power source due to the locomotive alternator providing 149 volts at 106 2/3 of the cycle for units in 567 and 567 engine 800 RPMs or 180 volts at 120 cycles for the units of the 645 engine 900 RPMs. With the motor running, check with the current with the end phase, each phase of the ammeter for the current in each phase should be equal to 10% if the greater of the difference, because if it must be assumed that the stator coils are shorter between the turns of the turn to turn short. Disassemble the fan in the motor position with the fan end with the figure 2 with the disassemble the valve, the remove the cap screw with the fan hub, the remove the cover plate, remove the fan rotor, assembly with the shaft of the hub, the nest with the light tab of the stern with the shaft of the hub, loosen fan pilot, time of the shaft hub, unscrew the flexible conduit locking nut from the connector of the push of the conduit, loose end with the connecting housing of the pushback with along the lead, separately connect the inch of the body with the exposing the snap ring within the terminal, figure 3 with identifying the leads from the tags, follow the terminal number 1, red tracer, terminal number 2, no tracer of the terminal, and number 3, a blue tracer. So cross-section of the cooling fan assembly show the cover plate with the bearing cover, the bearing lock nut, frame, and shaft connection plugs, 1, 2, and 3. Bearing snap ring, bearing frame ender, 1/4 inch vent hole, stator coil housing assembly, rotor assembly, fan blade, and blade housing hub assembly. Show the housing nut, the connector body, insert snapping ring and terminals, figure 3, fan motor connector. 4. Remove snap ring slide terminals over the connector and with the retain the snap rings over the reassembly. Remove the connector parts with the cable loose continuity fasteners from the frame with the remove the fastener flexible continuity from the lead. Turn the stator frame and assemble the upside down place. Blocks under shaft support stator winding assembly. 6. Remove the cap screw with the frame of the stator with the winding assembly. Remove the frame of the bearing housing stator assembly. 7. Remove the stator assembly placed on the claim workbench preparation for the removal of the bearing assembly. Removal of the bearing assembly from the shaft. Remove the cap screws over the bearing cover to the housing. With the remove of the bearing assembly from the hub end of the shaft. Remove the bearing assembly shaft from the housing by tapping on the self-mallet on the small end of the shaft. 3. After removal of the bearing assembly shaft of the housing with the stator assembly, remove the snapping ring and small bearing end of the shaft and remove the bearing applying pressure to the inner race. 4. Remove the lock washer nut from the shaft. Remove the bearing cover for the large bearing simultaneously with the shaft of the disc of the bearing. Inspect the hub portion on the fan frame of the bearing at a 1/4 inch vent housing with a 2. If the house are not present, drill locations indicated cleaning with the shader assembly. Shader assembly should be cleaned all the dirt, the gray grease prior with the varnish treatment. The shaver should be blown out with a clean, dry, compressed air with a reasonable low pressure. High pressure use dangerous loosening insulation protective cutting various parts. If dangerous deposits of dirt, cake, or difficult to remove, it may be necessary to clean the shaver of the cloth dam and dissolve with the most soap that requires some type of evaporate. So, no electrical test varnish treatment. This should be attempted immediately after cleaning. Warning: usually safety precautions apply with the flammable liquids. Provide adequate ventilation when any type of solvent is being used. Varnish treatment of the stator assembly. When the stator is ready to be varnished, it should be treated as followed with a mask over the machine surface of the bench bearing housing. Apply with a protective cover for the main leads of the prevent varnish for the getting on the leads. Preheat stator for 2 hours at 155 to 160 degrees Celsius convention type oven. Remove the stator oven from the oven while still hot and dip it clear baking varnish thin with the Exile mix according to the instruction given and serve the data. Allow to soak with the varnish for 5 minutes. Bake stator assembly for 5 hours at 155 to 160 degrees Celsius. In addition, with the dipping and baking, the varnish treatment is needed. The first baking time can be reduced 1 hour with the stator dip with the hot second and final baking should be remained at 5 hours. Cleaning and the remaining of the stator assembly. Remove the protective material of the main leaf of the machine surface bearing housing. Necessary clean the varnish machine surface with the cloth saturated with the Exile. Clean off excessive varnish outside with the state limitations. Cleaning can be accomplished with a power-driven wire brush. Be careful not to damage the winding. Tap out the thread holes paint bearing housing outside of lamination with red air, dry enamel, and refer to serve the data for the part numbers. Allow painted areas to dry thoroughly. Shift the shaft and bearing assembly to make sure the shaft of the housing bore cleaning free burrs. Additional grease for the cavity of the bearing cover to install the cover shaft with a small diameter bearing cover toward the shaft lens. Refer to serve the data with the tap of the quantity of the grease. Press for the name fan bearing assembly of the shaft with apply with the pressure face for the inner race. Drive solidly up against the shaft of the holder, lock plate and nut with the tight with the nut and bend with the lock plate into the nut so it's flat with the lock nut in place. Install a small bearing assembly on the shaft with apply pressure directly with the straight square to the force. Face inner race the drive bearing solidly against the shaft shoulder. Air apply snap ring on the groove shaft to hold the bearing in place. 5. Apply additional grease side with the bearing of the face of the fan and bearing. Refer to the surface of the dab with the tap of the quantity of the grease. Final assembly with the motor. Apply with the thin film of the grease for the fittings between the frame and the bearing housing. Install with the shader winding assembly in the frame so that the lead will be in line with the continuity hole in the frame. Check the tightness of the balance of the wave of the fan of the rotor. 3. Mount the fan and rotor assembly on the shaft of the hub stator with assembly. Use the 2 pallet bolts with the hub holes with the guide fan with assembly. 1 shaft hub. Clean. Cover the plate with apply red insulation. Name will cover wall paint and still wet with apply cover plate over the pilot bolts. Remove the pilot bolt. Note that the paint with the cover plate is used for the ceiling. 5. Apply the lock wash screws. Cap screw with fasten on the cover plate with the fan assembly. Tighten the cap screws evenly 70 to 75 pounds of torque. Raise the fan and stator assembly over the frame and then place in the suitable fixture of the fan facing down. Check the minimum clearance of 10,000 of an inch between the rotor and stator. Check the full length of the stator surface cleans for the 4 points at 90 degrees apart with the rotor fan. Rotate fan each checkpoint lower frame and over on the frame and the stator fan and stator assembly with the leads will be in line with the continuity hole in the frame and pull the leads through the hole and assembly being lowered into the frame. 9. Apply lock washer cap screws with fasten on the frame stator winding assembly. Tighten the cap screws evenly 70 to 75 pounds. Arrange stator leads evenly and slide flexible continuity fastener over the leads and tighten continuity fastener to the frame. 11. Slide connector housing over the cable to the terminal with the connector. Insert with install with a snap of the ring of the terminal. Complete assembly with the connector terminals require replacement. Refer to serve the dab with the part number of the terminals to either side of the compare crimping tool. Performing a half-hour running test specified in the preliminary inspection, step 405 and 6. During running test should be run smoothly without noticeable vibration. Refer to serve the data with a maximal level of unbalanced vibration. Except fan motors assembly should be removed with dynamically balanced balance. It is accomplished by adding washer necessary to the fan blade mounting bolts, 4 washers per bolt, maximum in conjunction with the longer bolts, at least 2 full threads for the protrude beyond the end of the nut. Final inspection test. Give the complete motor a high potential test. Refer to serve the data with the voltage times being to be used. Surface data show the fan blades 6, 8, and 9. Maximum unbalanced 5 inches. Ounce at 75 RPM. Blade assembly torque blade mounting bolts 95 to 110 pounds. of the Torx stator assembly high pot test, 1200 volts to ground, 10 seconds. Plug assembly, plug terminals, male connection, size 125 to 24. Crimping tool size bearing assembly, fan end bearing, frame end bearing grease, chevron BRB2 to be added to bearing cavity, 3 ounces. Miscellaneous clear baking varnish, 55 gallons Zyol thinner, 5 gallons varnish Zyol. Mixture have viscosity of 120 to 125 seconds. Ford cup number 4, 21.1 degrees Celsius, red insulating enamel. Alright, that was Electric Motor Division, General Motors Corporation, Maintenance Instruction 48-inch AC motor driven cooling fan, Maintenance Instruction 4102.